Former South African President Nelson Mandela has not been seen in public for months now since falling ill. But here in Washington, D.C., people will now get to see him every day in the form of a statue in his likeness.
Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela.
South Africans from all over the world could not be prouder. A larger-than-life statue of their former president, Nelson Mandela, now stands tall at the South African Embassy in Washington. Ibrahim Rasool, South Africa's ambassador to the U.S., says Mandela's legacy is enduring.
What we are doing is to make sure that his legacy endures, to make sure that his values endure, to make sure that his example endures. And therefore, whoever comes after Mr. Mandela anywhere in the world will always refer to the man who changed the fortunes of a nation.
Around the world, people have expressed their concern about the health of Mr. Mandela. His daughter, Zinzi Mandela, dispelled rumors that Mr. Mandela has passed, saying he's alive and that the statue will preserve his legacy.
He is a fighter, that he is strong, that he's still with us, and that he's recovering slowly, one day at a time. I think it's great to say that here's an ordinary boy from the village of Qunu who's impacted on the global landscape, that his values are there for all of us to share beyond the borders of South Africa.
The fight to end apartheid in South Africa was a global fight that had roots here in the United States. Key players included people like Randall Robinson, founder and former president of Trans-Africa, advocates who later became members of Congress like Maxine Waters, and others. U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee was one of them.
I am a child of the efforts that were waged to ensure that our nation reflected the need for South Africa's freedom.
We're pleased to the extent that we've made any contribution at all to the, first of all, the democratization of South Africa, and secondly, the location of the statue here in front of the South African Embassy will forever be a tribute to the work that was done right here in Washington, D.C. in raising the issue of apartheid so that the country as a whole could understand the implications of a system like that continuing.
African Americans, students, civil rights leaders all came to this embassy to protest what we saw as one of the greatest injustices on the planet, which was the apartheid regime, but also U.S. support for the apartheid regime. Through hard work and dedication and really just not giving up and always believing it was possible, apartheid crumbled.
The chair of the African Union Commission, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, also a South African, says the task now is to ensure the legacy of Mr. Mandela lives on through concerted efforts to improve the lives of ordinary people.
Mandela has taught us that we should love other people, we should respect other people, we should fight for children to have food, to have education. We must make sure people have houses, have got water, have got electricity, and that the well-being of all people is what we should be struggling for.
South Africans in the crowd say they could not be prouder of Mr. Mandela and the light he has shone on South Africa.
It's a historic moment for us as South African. We are so proud because, we've been long in the struggle and eventually we are free.
Onlookers posed and gazed admiringly at the statue made out of bronze. Jean Doyle is the sculptor.
I was asked to sculpt it as Nelson Mandela looked as he came out of the prison, with his arm up in the salute, which is to represent unity and strength. When I sculpted him, I wanted to capture the man in the moment, and I hope that that's what I achieved.
Well, South African officials attending the unveiling included the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Maite Nkoana Mashabane. Representing the U.S. was USAID Administrator Raziv Shah. And also to note, Vincent, that the unveiling coincidentally happened on International Peace Day.
This is amazing, and I think you did a great job here. But it's also great that this has happened at a time when, remember, a few months ago, there was fear that Nelson Mandela may not be there this long. But it's great that this has happened when he's still up there alive.
Absolutely. And actually,
yes.
Zinzi Mandela, the daughter, made reference to that and seemed a little bit really upset about some of the public misinterpretation of his situation, because some had even said that he had passed. So she really used this opportunity to let the world know that he's alive, he's well, he's still fighting. In fact, what happened is before the unveiling, Mandela's arm was sticking out, and she said that's a symbol of his continued spirit to fight.
Yeah. And also the fact that for those many African Americans and other Americans who participated in this struggle, that they can always go in front of them, a South African embassy, and say, this is a symbol of what we also made a contribution to.
In fact, Ambassador Rasool said that this was an exorcism, because when they first were fighting for the anti-apartheid movement to end, they were standing in front of the very same embassy, which at the time was pushing for apartheid. So ended well.
Thanks a lot, Demi. And that's our show for today. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.